So UFC 327 is just about 2 days away now, and I thought, or rather, it's a day away now, for depending on when this gets uploaded. But I wanted to do a quick kind of a rundown on most of the fights on the card. I think I'll be missing out on just two from the early prelims. I included Lupe Godinez and Kelvin Gastelum on top there because I'm picking them to win their respective fights. But I really just wanted to talk about some of the prelims and main card fights that really interested me. Not really like a detailed breakdown of who I'm betting to win and stuff like that, but just kind of my opinions on the fight, who I think is going to win, why, etc. Kind of like my scattered, think of it like a scattered thoughts of UFC 327. So without further ado, let's start with Mateus Gamrot versus Esteban Ribovic, and I am picking Mateus Gamrot to win this. So for starters, I don't know if the UFC just don't like Gamrot. I don't know if it's because they find his style to be boring, but this is now the second opponent Gamrot's fought who is unranked, the first being Ludwig Klein. And I don't know if they're just trying to get rid of him. They're trying to, they want to put him up against a skilled striker because, like, as a punishment for his style of fighting. He's ranked number 8 in the world. He has a win over number 1 Arman Sarukian. So, matchmaking wise, I like Esteban. I think he's sick. His boxing is awesome, but I do wonder exactly why they're doing this to Gamrot. He did save the Charles Oliveira card, when he came in on short notice. Now, when it comes to the actual fight, I am picking Gamrot to win. I was rewatching some of Esteban's fight. He had the fight with, the guy from Tajikistan. I can't remember his name. Something. It starts with an L. I can't remember his name now, but that fight to me was like a light of what we're going to expect with this fight with Gamrot, because I don't think Gamrot has anywhere near the power that Tajikistani fighter had, but I think Gamrot's a lot more crafty and he's a lot more effective with his grappling. And so that guy was hurting Esteban. He had him wobbled, hurt several times, and he was using his grappling to kind of mix it up. I don't know if Gamrot will be able to do that. He just doesn't have that power, but he is weirdly underrated with his striking. He is a good striker for what he's doing. He's very good at kind of overwhelming you and then getting his takedowns from whatever position he needs. And he's very good at keeping opponents down. And if you do get back up, he'll just kind of swarm you again and take you down. And Esteban is obviously very good. He's powerful. His boxing was clean. That fight against that Tajikistani fighter was just some real crispy boxing right there, which I love to see, of course. I'm a big boxing fan as well, but I just think Gamrot's going to overwhelm him here, and I think he's going to walk away with the unanimous decision. So I am going with Mateus Gamrot, and if he wins this, UFC, let's give him a real opponent. Like, no more of these unranked strikers. Like, I know you guys are trying to get rid of him or something, but Gamrot's fun, dude. I don't know why. His grappling's fun. He can Gamrot it up sometimes, but he is in general a pretty fun fighter. So I'm going with Mateus Gamrot. Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. I'm going with Kevin Holland, and my reason for it is, dude, I don't get how he lost to Daniel Rodriguez. I don't get how he lost to Mike Mallet. Mike Mallet, I guess, has like some potential, even though he got fraud checked by Neil Magny. I don't know how he lost to Daniel Rodriguez. I don't think D-Rod is particularly good. Kevin Holland to me was always one of those guys who, like, at welterweight, at middleweight, he got squashed by RDR, but it's a 15-pound jump and stuff like that. But at welterweight, people forget, man, he's got a win over Fluffy Hernandez. Like, he's long, his striking. He had a close fight with JDM, which close fight as in a clear winner, JDM. I don't know how it was a split decision, but he did make it competitive with him. He's good on the feet, and he's got some great chokes as well. Randy Brown, on the other hand, good striking, can hurt guys. I think he's coming off of a win, a KO loss to Gabriel Bonfim. So another kind of a long guy who can utilize the knees and kicks. And as far as Holland goes, dude, I just think on the feet and on the ground, he's got the advantage. I just think Kevin Holland's really good. I know his last two performances may not show that as much. I think Randy Brown's potential is his ceiling's a lot lower than Kevin Holland. So I think Kevin Holland can hurt him and then finish it on the ground with an anaconda or a vice choke, whatever he decides to go with. So I am going with Kevin Holland to beat Randy Brown. Moving on, we got Patricio Pitbull versus Aaron Pico, and I am going with Aaron Pico to win. And so For starters, I don't know why Aaron Pico is such a massive favorite. I am picking him, but I don't think one of these guys has won a fight in the UFC, and it's not Aaron Pico. One of them's ranked, and it's not Aaron Pico. So I'm not sure why he's this big of a favorite, but I guess people are seeing what I'm seeing. Aaron Pico has never been to a decision before, right? He has, I think his record is like 13 wins, 5 losses. He's never been to a decision. He's had, out of the 5 losses he's had, 4 of them have been like finishes. One of them, I think, was a TKO from an injury he had in Bellator. But this guy, he's not seeing a decision loss. And at this point in Patricio Pitbull's career, he is sort of he's a crafty vet, at this point. In 2020 onwards, he's been getting a lot less finishes. He's lost quite a bit of his fights post 2020 as well, but he's much more crafty now. And against a guy like Pico, who's so explosive, and before you guys say, well, Lerone Murphy knocked him out. Yeah, Lerone Murphy's not known for his explosivity and stuff like that, but he is a big ball of muscle, and he can explode forward like that if need to be. And it was a perfect storm of, I think Aaron Pico was being overly aggressive because it was his UFC debut and he wanted to get that big win. He came forward with his chin in the air against an opponent up against a cage, and Lerone spun and he knocked him out. But people forget, man, Aaron Pico was not just letting, he wasn't getting dominated before the finish. He was actually pushing the pace. He had Lerone hurt a bit, I think, with a body shot up against the cage. So he's explosive, he's dangerous, and at this point in Patricio Pitbull's career, I've seen his last 2 fights, Dan Ige and Yair Rodriguez. I have not seen anything that makes me think, oh, Aaron's in trouble here. Great athlete. He's so young. He's 29, dude. For a guy who, for a guy who, it feels like he's been in the game a lot longer than that. But young, explosive. I just think that he's got Patricio Pitbull's number here, and I think he could finish him first, second round, maybe even third. I might actually go third round finish here because Pitbull is very, again, he's crafty and he's durable as well. But at this point in his career, I just don't think he has what it takes. You're not going to craft your way to a decision against Aaron. You've got to flatline, knock him out, and I don't see Patricio Pitbull doing that. So I am going with Aaron Pico by knockout. Then we move on to the main card. We got Cub Swanson in his retirement fight against Nate Landwehr. Cub Swanson, he had that incredible KO at the Colby Covington Buckley fight night, I think it was, and I was going wild, dude, watching that. It was incredible. But I'm going with Cub Swanson, dude. Cub's seen it all. There's nothing Nate offers that Cub, hasn't seen from his days in the WEC to the UFC. There's nothing Nate's bringing that's unique or new. He's just tough, comes forward, he grapples, he throws hands. There's nothing really. It's not like, oh, he's got otherworldly power or he's got Merab's cardio or Khabib's takedowns. It's nothing like that. There's nothing Nate really does that makes me think Cub hasn't seen it or doesn't know how to deal with it. Cub is, I use this word a lot, but just like Patricio Pitbull, he is a crafty vet at this point in his career. He's got power, he's got good hands, and this being the last fight of his career, it seems like he's in good spirits, right? This isn't one of those retirements like Anthony Smith where it's like you kind of don't have a choice. Lost 4 or 5, kind of have to hang it up. You're seeing it with guys like Michael Chiesa, guys like Robbie Lawler, guys like these when they kind of go out on their terms. They get the wins, man. Like they're not being forced to hang up the gloves; they're choosing to do so. And Cub Swanson's kind of in that same, he's in that same realm, right? He doesn't look terrible. He had a fantastic finish, I believe, in his last fight. Or was it the last fight before that? I can't actually remember, but he's been looking real good. And again, I don't think Nate has anything for Cub, so I'm going with Cub Swanson. And he's such a fun fighter to watch, man. I'm gonna miss him. So let's go with Cub Swanson getting the finish. Finish over Nate. Nate is there to get dropped and hurt and put out. So yeah, why not? Let's go with the late, maybe third round finish from Cub Swanson. And then we go Johnny Walker versus Dominic Reyes. And I am picking Johnny Walker to win. I think a lot of people are picking Dominic Reyes, and I'm not shocked why. If you were to put these two's chin against each other's and see like who would more likely be knocked out by a gust of wind, it would probably be Johnny Walker. Like, let's be honest here. But man, I've been watching some of Dominic Reyes' past few performances. First and foremost, his physique seems to be getting blobbier. Like he's preparing us for a move up to heavyweight almost. He did not look impressive really in any of his last few fights. The Anthony Smith fight, it wasn't. He got the TKO, but Anthony Smith was literally presenting his head on a golden platter for Dominic and like telling him to hit him. And it wasn't like Dominic Reyes made Anthony Smith quit. It was more like Anthony Smith quit on himself type of a deal. The win over Krylov, it's impressive. I always thought Krylov was quite good. And so to do that to a guy like Krylov is impressive. But has Krylov even looked particularly good since his long layoff? And he was charging him with the chin in the air. Now, you have to be able to take advantage of guys making mistakes. Dominic Reyes did, which tells me that, you know, he is good, right? If you can't take advantage of your opponent's mistakes, you ain't any good. So Dominic Reyes can do that at least, but I don't think he's this prolific knockout artist as much as people would like to think. Sure, he like knocked out Chris Weidman way back, but in general, he's not a crazy KO guy. And I don't know what he was thinking against Carlos Ulberg, dude, when he jumped into literal like hook range and just got slept out cold. Like he came in, he froze, and this is something Dominic Reyes does a lot. When he's like guarding with his high guard, he like leans down a bit, typically a stance, right? But then he'll like lean right up, like he'll stand straight, and he kind of just freezes, and he's there to be hit. He's a piñata to be smacked around. And Johnny Walker is explosive. Johnny Walker is powerful. Johnny Walker does have kind of not granite chin, the exact opposite, like a feather chin. But in a fight of explosivity, which is kind of who hits whose chin first here, I'm going with Walker. And Walker can mix it up. You know, he gets the takedowns. Now, he failed pretty miserably with the wrestling against Zhang, but he threw up his leg and finished him, right? So I think Johnny Walker, and he's training with Sean Strickland. He's training with Francis Ngannou, which is good to see. And again, dude, I almost forgot, dude. Dominic Reyes got flatlined by Ryan Spann. Like he was like body kicking him at jab range, and he got knocked out by a jab, I think it was. Like Dominic Reyes has shown himself not to be the smartest fighter. Neither is Johnny Walker, so this is like a Looney Tunes fight anyways. But as far as pure explosivity goes, when they connect who's going out first, I think Johnny Walker will hit that chin first, and I got Johnny Walker by first round knockout. So moving on, Curtis Blades versus Josh Hokett. I'm going Josh Hokett. Again, I'm picking kind of all over the place in this card. I know Hokett has kind of been rubbing guys the wrong way with his antics, but I'll say this about Hokett, man. This fight went from, it's on the card, it's a decent like prelim fight, to now this is one of the fights everybody wants to see on the main card. Like, we need stuff like this. I know it's corny, you can call it what you want, but this is the stuff you need to get interested. Like, he's putting himself up there for a potential Trash Talk Gone Wrong compilation. You know, he's doing that for himself. I'm just thankful, you know. You don't have to like him and stuff like that, but I'm just thankful he's doing that. And also, I just want to say this. Am I the only one who thinks he looks like Spanian? Every time I see him, I get that voice. That's ouch, cuz. You know, I get that right up in my head every time I see this guy. He looks just like Spanian to me. But I'm going with Josh Hokett. And again, he hasn't really faced an opponent on the caliber of Curtis Blades before, but he's shown that he's way above the levels of the blobs he's been fighting thus far, right? Like, he's clearly levels above these guys. And Curtis Blades is kind of like, I don't know if I'd call him a blob per se, but he's not Pavlovich or Aspinall or Gane level, but he's directly below that. Like, he's like the gatekeeper of that level. And if Josh Hokett can beat Blades, then that probably means Hokett is on that level of where he can be fighting these guys. And from what I've seen from Hokett, man, he's got wrestling. You know, he's a football player. So he's an explosive, hard guy, man. He's really light on his feet, and he's very small for heavyweight, dude. He's 6'1". He was 20 or 30 pounds lighter than Freeman in their fight, his most recent fight. And he just picked him up and dragged him down. Like, he's a very strong guy, small guy for the division. Could make light heavyweight pretty easily. And I was watching some of Curtis Blades' last fights, like with Rizvan Kuniev. If you look at his last wins, Rizvan Kuniev, split decision, could have gone to Rizvan. Knocked out Dawkins. But then you look at his losses, and the Derek Lewises, the Sergey Pavlovich, Tom Aspinall. I don't even consider Derek Lewis to be that high level. But if you can do something very well, I don't think Curtis Blades really has an answer for you. And before you guys say what about Jelton Almeida, Almeida shot and he was doing well, but he just shot against Blades and he did not move. He just sat there and Blades just hammer fisted him and knocked him out. Hokit ain't gonna do that, man. He's constantly moving, light on his feet. He's real good with the ground and pound. Really good with. He's like the heavyweight Colby Covington. He'll get you down. You'll get back up. He'll just keep swarming you, shoot another takedown, drag you down. Kind of like even like a Gamrot in a similar way. But I think Hokit gets it done, man. And he's putting himself up there to be badly knocked out if this goes all wrong. So. This is a fight I'm really intrigued to see how it plays out. But Curtis Blades, good wrestling. Do I see him taking down Hokit? Probably not. Could I see him reversing positions here and there? Yes. I mean, he's heavier than Hokit as well. So, but we've seen Hokit fight heavier guys and take him down with ease and beat up on him. And I got just a decision. I don't think he's going to finish Blades. I think Blades is a level above the Freemans and all these guys pretty clearly. So I don't see he's going to have that easy of a time. And I don't think Hokit's shown that he's that much better than the Blobs. He's definitely better than them. But to do that to a Blades, I don't know if we've seen that. But I'm picking him via a decision. I'm going to say probably a 29-28, but a pretty clear 29-28, maybe 30-27 Hokit. So we move on now to Paulo Costa versus Azamat Murzakanov. Yeah, that green check's in the right place. I'm picking Paulo Costa. If you've been on this channel for the past few weeks, I've been pretty rough on Paulo. I've been talking about Israel Adesanya in the middleweight division. And I don't rate Paulo Costa heavy. I don't. I think he's very one-dimensional. I've been open about the fact that Adesanya's looked so good because he's been fighting guys like Vittori and Costa who can't take advantage of opponents making mistakes. He is very one-dimensional. So the question is, why am I picking him up against a monster like Azamat? This is just one of those style makes fights, guys. I know Costa's not very good. He's not technically very good. He is very tough, very, very tough. He is also very good at what he does, and what he does is very one-dimensional. But to beat a guy like Azamat, look at this guy's body. I'm not talking about his weight. I'm talking about, look at how wide this man is. Every fight Azamat's had, he's there to be hit with body kicks, and he's been hit with body kicks. They're there, they land. Every fight this guy has, you hear him get hit with the body kick, and the entire the commentary team are like, oh, did you hear that body kick? He's there to be hit. He's small for the division. He's like 5'11". He's got a 71-inch reach. Paulo Costa's got 72-inch. They both have a smaller reach than Movsar Evloev and Lerone Murphy. So this is a weird fight. Two guys at 205 with less reach than a featherweight is pretty insane. So if they want to box, they're going to have to both get pretty close into range, and that's scary for Paulo. Paulo's definitely improved recently, and you saw this against Roman Kopylov. But again, how do you lose to Marvin Vettori? That's one thing, man. Like, how do you lose to Marvin, dude? I don't think Marvin's good at all. I've kind of come to... I'm trying to think, man. I don't know. Like, thinking about him losing to Marvin always plays with me, dude. You can't lose to Marvin. He sucks. He sucks at everything. But maybe Paulo was telling the truth about his leg was a balloon, but I mean, his foot was a balloon, but dude, he was still throwing head kicks every other minute. So I don't know. I hate that performance. I really hate that performance. But Roman Kopylov's good, and I think Kopylov's a lot better than Vettori. And Paulo Costa did kind of style on him for 2 rounds. People forget, man, that third round was kind of dull. Azamat's got power. He's knocked out Alenzo Menifield. Congrats. He's knocked out a couple other guys. He knocked out Rakic, which to me is very impressive. If you've been on this channel for even longer than like a year, you would know I've been kind of the guy to push the narrative that Rakic is one of the dark horses in the light heavyweight division, and I've been really dumb because of it. I've looked really dumb, and I didn't before the Azamat fight because he had a really close fight with Ankalaev, and I was like, that third fight was 1-1 heading into the third, and if he had just not taken his coach's advices and not thought he was up to, he could have possibly won that third round and won. blah 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 blah. But man, I always thought Rakic's issue, like, he's a fantastic athlete. He's got everything you'd want as a fighter. At this point, I just don't know if he's got the heart, because if you watch the fight with Azuma, he gets hit with the shot, with the jab, the power jab. He doesn't get knocked out. He gets dropped. And he looks up and he sees Azamat and he starts covering up. So he's not out. He's not anything like that. The ref comes, pulls Azamat off. Rakic immediately gets up and goes to shake his hand. So he basically just quit, right? He was not concussed or badly hurt or anything like that. He knew where he was. He was immediately back up. Costa's not that kind of a guy, dude. Costa ain't going to do that. Costa is definitely a lot tougher. He's not as technically sound as Rakic, and Rakic was landing leg kicks and head kicks and stuff like that, or body kicks, excuse me. Costa's not as technical, but he will be spamming. If Costa's smart, which I hope he is for this fight, and I know I should be picking guys for what I've seen them do and not what I want them to do, but he has nasty body work, man, and he can just stay out on range and just and body kick him because they have similar reaches. I'm afraid that if they get into the boxing range, Azma is very explosive. He's very thick for the division, even though he's quite small, so he does pack a power. That scares me for Paulo. But Paulo's really tough. Again, if he gets dropped, he's immediately back up. He got dropped by Romero, back up. He got hurt by Uriah Hall, kept pushing him backwards. That's one thing you can't take away from Paulo. And so I'm going with Paulo by, I think this is going to be a really close decision. And I think Paulo's just barely going to edge it out. So I think this fight is going to go to the judges' scorecard. I don't see this being a finish, which is crazy because I think a lot of people seeing it maybe being a finish for Azamat. But I think Costa's going to be crafty. He's shown he's improving, which is quite strange. You typically don't see guys improve later when they've had 15 plus fights typically and they've been in the fight game. Costa's had, I think, 5 fights since his Izzy fight in 2020. Like, this guy is not active, and his best wins are Roman Kopylov, who was ranked, I think, 15, and a unranked Luke Rockhold coming off of a huge layoff. So again, am I the most confident in this pick? No. Can I be really badly embarrassed here? Yes. But I'm still going Paulo, man. I could just see him spamming head kicks, spamming body kicks, spamming leg kicks, and even if they don't land cleanly, those do add up. And he is really good at that. If he's one-dimensional, he's one-dimensional, but he's really good at that. And this is styles make fights. I think Azma is a better fighter overall. But when it comes to styles, I think Paulo does have a style that's really bad for a guy like Azamat. So I am going with Paulo Costa to win by decision. And we move on to the main event. I'm not going to even spend much time on this dude. I'm picking Yuri Prohaska. Why? I just think he's the coolest fighter ever. He's awesome. He's amazing. I've never felt emotions like I did watching him fight Khalil, even Jamal Hill. This is a terrible matchup for him, a really bad matchup for him. Carlos Solberg is really good on the back foot. He has that check left hook everybody knows about. And Yuri Prohaska got dropped by Pereira both times in the first and second fight when he was coming forward and he got hit by a left hook. That is terrifying. But it's not like Khalil wasn't also countering him and he was just eating them just fine. So I don't know if it's Pereira just hits different. I don't know what it is. He was coming forward and getting clipped by Khalil, but he seemed fine. So all I can really do is hope he wins. I don't mind Carlos. He's fine, but I need this win. Let's go for that. We need Yuri to win here. So I don't have any technical reasons for why I'm picking him. It's a heart, man. In MMA, if there's one thing I've learned, Paulo Costa's gotten this far in his career, despite being very one-dimensional. It's because he's got heart. You know what I mean? You need heart, and good thing for Yuri is that he's actually powerful. He's got an 80-inch reach, which is very impressive. Light heavyweight, very long guy, great body for fighting spirit. Is dedicated to the game. I love to see it, and I don't know how he beats Carlos. I generally don't. Like I should be picking Carlos here because of styles, but Yuri's gonna find a way. Let's go for that. Let's go for first round knockout by Yuri Prohaska. That's all. That's all I can really say. I can't pick him for other reasons. So yeah, that's about it. That was 10 fights, 8 fights, and 2 of them, Kelvin Gastelum, Lupe Godinez, I didn't really break down heavily like that, but I gave my winners. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. The last card I did, I think, was the Ilya Topuria and Max Holloway. I went 11-2, not including the early prelims. This fight card's a lot more tricky, really tricky. these 3 fights right here, even this 4 fights right here, bro, I could get all 4 of these wrong pretty roughly, but I'm still gonna go with them. You know, let's go for that. This is what I'm picking. So hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I got a lot more content I plan on shipping out soon. But I'm really excited for UFC 327, and let's see how it goes. Let's hope Yuri gets the win. All right. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Yeah. Peace out.